Well, let's see if they can do anything against Eager this game, because I feel Picks and Bans let him down a little bit in that game, not recognizing a few of those things there, and they kind of got punished there by Eager because of it.
Yeah, giving up Terra and Guan Yu, probably not your best idea, because you think of the two quintessential top picks on console right now, it's always been Guan Yu.
Yeah.
Guan Yu is
Sustain.
the top pick, right. And then it's watching the PC side, you have to recognize how strong Terra is. The sustain, the CC, everything she brings with the global ultimate. So to give up both, I don't know, maybe they thought Eager wouldn't double down on the sustain, but they clearly did.
Yep.
And then you have that third opportunity. I thought maybe aware, okay, we'll pick the Odin third before the ban phase.
Yeah.
And then they picked Neath instead.
Yeah, there was a few things, like obviously, you know, the no picking of Odin, which I can understand in one aspect of like trying to get the ban out, but then leaving a Wheelix up as well, then giving them Terra and Guan Yu. There's a lot of things in picks and bans that kind of went against these aware gaming boys. This time around, though, I guess they've not played Terra themselves too much.
Maybe not. Maybe Kenshin isn't comfortable on it, or maybe they've got a different idea in mind. But when you're first pick, banning away the first pick god right now, it usually signals to me that you either have a comp that you really want to run that doesn't involve that god, or you aren't comfortable on it.
Was Fafnir banned last game as well?
He was.
He was. So let's see if he gets banned this one, because he's still available right now, but Eager have already banned Nemesis, and they're going to ban Zeus as well away from, well, it's not Baronic in the jungle. It's Baronic in the jungle right
That's
now.
why, exactly. That's why I'm kind of shaking my head a little bit. SMH, man. It's not Baronic. I mean, maybe Forger Vulcan's
Maybe they have the flex, though. I mean, maybe Baronic could go back to the mid lane for this game if Zeus was left up, and if he's not, they could just flex every time.
Possibly.
We had a team that do that. That'd be fun if we had a team that just switch roles on the fly.
Chacho and Chapo wanted to do that because they're big, they're big into Dota, where I guess that's more common. And he was like, "Yo, if we get like tier, we'll just put you on it, and then if we get like Fenrir or something, we'll put me." It was like I was never on
giving
board with
away
that,
other team strats. You're not even on the team anymore. It's rude.
There's no way they're going to switch roles in
if
the middle of the
they
set.
do it now, they'll be like, yeah, the other team knew
They're
going to
do it just to spite me now.
El Agro told him. Susano gets locked in instead of Fafnir, which is very surprising to me. Fafnir should have pretty much been in slot there, I feel.
We've seen Kenshin play it at a high level as well.
Yeah.
That's why it's so surprising to me as well, because their objective control was pretty good. We saw Aware with a nice objective call, and that's really augmented by a Fafnir pick. So
it's true.
I guess they wanted to keep Susano away from Jelly, but Jelly proved that he was very proficient on the Awilish, and
true.
Eager not picking Fafnir either?
Maybe they don't like Fafnir. Well, Aware have to take Fafnir now. That'd be very silly if we don't see the Fafnir lock-in. Probably one of the strongest supports with Terra off the table here.
Right.
Terra, Fafnir, definitely the top two in that role at the moment. Probably followed up by Bacchus, as I was going to say that, but it's going to be Bacchus.
Okay.
Interesting.
You're giving Eager Fafnir with Soul? Like, Soul Fafnir is such a potent combo for a tower push, objective killing. It's just a potent combo in general. Now, maybe Mifflin moving to the support role doesn't have it in his god pool. Maybe.
Everyone can have a Fafnir in your god pool.
You should.
Like 3 CCs, an AoE team burst of damage, and a sustain for yourself.
You should.
Yeah, you're
okay,
gonna have
thank the Lord.
Even if he's not played it before, this will be his first game, and I still think he'll do okay in it, because Fafnir is just very strong right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was Mifflin's first game on Fafnir.
That wouldn't surprise me. I've seen that happen many times with pros, where they're
especially
like, yeah,
with a guy like Mifflin. Like, Mifflin's been playing Dark Souls instead of playing Smite, probably, and just lets Fafnir go.
I mean, Fafnir to an extent.
He's like, Fafnir's always banned.
He's like Dark Souls anyway, right? He's like a Dark Souls character anyway, with the shield and the
I've never been into Dark Souls. It's too hard for me. I'm a casual.
Yeah, of course you are. That's why you're casting now. Erlang Shem banned out by Eager, and it's back to Aware now for their next ban in terms of what to look for. They probably need to look at maybe junglers here for the most part.
They could look at junglers, and we should see the Awelish ban, even if there's no, I mean, it hurts the Bacchus engage heavily. No knockups thus far on Eager, but Jelly likes to play it, and there are players who will play Awelish without any additional setup. Chapo's a big fan of that.
Well,
We've seen we can do it right, and Bacchus. I mean, a lot of teams, Jelly in particular, because we used to scrim Eager a lot, and it was Jelly on Bacchus all the time, belly flopping and killing me by himself, but that's neither here nor there. But he would always talk about how Chapo would pull him early every time, and it would really frustrate him. And then we'd get to 18 minutes, and he would still be pulling him, and it's like, I have Blink now, and I get an ultimate down. That's all it is.
Well, instead they're going to hit Cougar's Freya and Delta Marine's Vulcan instead, because that Sol is flex, so I can understand that.
It is flex, but when I think of Sol, it's Delta Marine for Eager. I mean, he is just so good on Sol. We saw him do it a lot in the summer split. We saw him pull it out a lot at the SEL Summer LAN, but Neith is also a god that he's proficient on, but I would be very surprised if it wasn't Soul in the middle lane and Neith in the duo lane.
Well, I'm looking at Eager's final pick that can come through after Aware finish things off for themselves here. They have the option of Kuang here and also the Awelix, so there's plenty of things for them to go to, as we do see the Anher finally locked in for Aware Gaming's duo lane.
Cameron pretty comfortable on the Anher. I'll bet you he would have liked to pick the Neith. He likes these safer gods that he doesn't have to really box you with. He likes to play the later game gods like Freya, Soul, things like that, as well as the Neith kind of to offset that. Ratatosker is a god that I know Mifflin was a big fan of. Maybe they switched for this game.
Maybe they have. Maybe
Jelly
they
loves
have.
Fafnir and Mifflin loves Ratatosker.
I mean, they have.
I
the
would have
option.
never have said that if you wouldn't put that idea in my mind.
Well, the idea of switching up roles every time. I mean, it's definitely a viable strategy that not a lot of teams have looked at because most people are a little bit too set in their ways at the same time as your team has to be used to the switches too. You've got to all be on the same page.
And that's
going
to be the right.
Duo lane synergy, jungle mid synergy, jungle solo lane synergy, jungle mid support synergy. It's a lot of synergy to go on. But it's going to be Jelly. So, no dream there.
And I'm wrong on the Soul in the duo lane. Feels bad, man.
It's okay. It's okay to be wrong. You just get called out for being a bad caster.
I'm not. This is nothing new to me because we'd be in picks and bans and be like, "Yo, guys, trust. That's definitely Soul middle. Let's just ban away some. You know, let's ban away ADCs or
and then
mages.
you get in trouble.
And then they're like, "Wow, let's listen to aggro. He's so smart. He knows where everyone's going."
But if you get it right, they don't give you any credit for it.
Never.
Either, They're just
Never.
like,
They're
we knew
just
they were going to do that anyway. Yeah.
I'm like, guys, I was right, and Uzzy's like, huh, and that's the only thing that's said.
Well, into game we go. Cameron going to be on this Anher this game. Starting off with the Death Toll boots, as we've seen standard. Nothing too unusual, but I say that at the same time as Jelly has gone one more time for this Wrath in the jungle. No purification going to be available for him, so he's going to be a little bit wary of these drums of war coming out from Forger in the mid lane on that Raijin in case those taunts do come through. But I do like the secure he has with that global ultimate.
No doubt. I like this Wrath more than I like the last one. Last time Aware's comp was so CC heavy. You had the Neith ultimate, you had the Athena taunt. I mean, so much could have gone wrong for you with that Wrath, as well as the Kuang execute. This time, yes, the Raijin ultimate, but you're probably not going to be using Purification a whole lot against Bacchus anyways. You really have to use it preemptively a lot of the time. And you usually see Sanctuary picked up against this sort of team comp. Susano, you're not going to be able to purify the pool very often, or the knockup maybe, but you'd rather have Sanctuary for that most of the time anyways. So I like this pickup more.
Well, Marine just a full load to his face there overall, but he will be okay for the time being, sustaining back up with the Unravel. And with that Raiju thrown out there, he's not going to get the extra damage off, so he doesn't actually do any damage.
Not only that, but now he doesn't have his dash available until level 3, and that's something that Eager should be very aware of. I would like to see them go aggressive on him in this next wave in middle.
Well, we're actually respecting how the situation was going in the mid lane there, so they gave up the right and Harpies here. Going to default to the left, which overall gives Eager the Fire Elementals and the right and Harpies, so a small experience lead for Eager.
That's what you expect out of Ravana in the duo lane and Neith in the middle lane. You're going to have a lot of aggression. And it looks like Baranic's actually going to be the target call. Forger Vulcan doing a nice job of staying farther back, knowing that he's probably in trouble if they go on him.
A lot of nice poke coming out from Jelly there, but he got answered back nicely from the mid laner. Forger there on the Raijin as well for the time being. We do see Sprint online for Bacchus here as well, which is, I'm a bit interested as why they've chosen Sprint here.
It's a good catch-all, right? It's always useful. It's not always the most useful, but it's always useful just for engage, disengage, everything in between.
It helps out with the Stellar Burst because the Stellar Burst does slow, so it will remove that a little bit if there's a lot of pressure onto there. But the Meditate could have helped him out a lot in this lane. And talking about Meditate, Mifflin has taken the Meditate this game, so there's even more sustain coming out from the push power of these two.
We saw Mifflin pick up that Meditation last time as well. It seems to be a fan of this sustain in lane and overall just in the team fights. Being able to have that big burst heal in the middle of a team fight, catching the other team off guard, definitely can work in your favor.
Well, Duet's doing a very good job in that solo lane as we just tuned in there with that 200 gold lead already at 2 minutes in. Just pushing Amaterasu under the tower over and over again, which is what you need to do against the Amaterasu early game.
This is what you want out of your Robin. We saw last time Dr. L not able to do what you want out of Robin, not being able to push him around like you wanted. But this time, Dewara saying, let me show you how it's done, Dr. L.
We just saw Cougar there use the Purification over in the duo lane, looking to avoid the Impale. Gets hit by it, but obviously doesn't get knocked by it, backed by it. But at the same time, I don't think he was in any sort of trouble by having that happen.
No, he was too far from the wall, but it looks like Delta Marine or Jelly going to go in. A great job interrupting the ultimate, or the dash, excuse me, from Dr. L. maybe a little bit of luck, but Jelly would tell you that was all skill.
Well, at the same time, I mean, Delta Marine did fire that World Weaver from mid lane too, so it was a nice combination. However, he's trying to back at the moment, but he's just been caught out, and that's going to be a free kill as Broronic swings in to pick up Jelly that was busy focusing on the farm there. Could have backed it a little bit earlier, just ran back to his tower instead, went for the farm and got punished for it.
Definitely a lazy back. I mean, that's the one more wave syndrome. That's you just got to give it up when you're that
well,
low.
with Desert Fury being channeled there by Cameron, great flop coming in, and answer back from Aware Gaming in the duo lane as well, giving them the kill lead overall there, and that was also down to that purification being used a little bit earlier on.
Even if the purification is available for Cougar there, he probably still dies.
That's true.
The belly flop immediately into the Desert's Fury, that's great communication. You can tell right away. No hesitation from Cameron. Kenshin saying, this is what I'm looking for, and we're going to execute it. Hitting every spear off the knockup. Nice play in the duo lane there. And that's what you want out of your on-her, to bully this soul early.
And this duo lane's done great work for themselves there. I mean, obviously, they've forced a meditation out a little bit earlier from Mifflin, as well as Cougar's purification, and then finding a free kill when they're the ones being pressured under the tower constantly. It's a fantastic little individual team play.
Especially when you're up against a big duo lane, like a big name duo lane, right? You're up against Air Cougar, one of the premier ADCs on the console. You're up against Mifflin, who just did move to the support role, but has been around in the PC competitive scene for a while as well. So having that confidence instilled in you, but this shouldn't be a surprise coming out of Aware. We've seen it the first 2 weeks as well. They're never scared to take a fight.
And they're not worried about the duo lane at all. Left it the same way as it should be, and they've brought up a good little thing there for themselves as well. So gold lead is about 600 gold available advantage for Eager here at the moment, but the experience ever so slightly aware. Not much, still even.
No, at 4 minutes, this is what you expect. This time, both buffs going to each team. No invades gone poorly for Aware, or aggressive invades coming out of Eager, content to farm up their own buffs. And it's a nice balance on both these teams of mid, early, and late game damage potential.
Well, I was going to say, talk me through a little bit of what Aware Gaming's game plan is here, because we've seen Eagers already. They're using these global rotations, as I say that. They're going to have one immediately with the World Weaver coming in and the Rat coming down too for the cleanup. That's what Eagers comp is all about, finding these global picks. What is Aware's comp all about?
Waiting for Amaterasu to get online, which Eager recognizes and is now delaying by camping this solo lane, using the ultimates from Jelly and Delta Marine, but just waiting for Amaterasu to get online and team fighting better than Eager. This time they don't have that sustain, so a god like Susano definitely going to be more effective. That poke damage also has that all-in potential with the Typhoon. It's going to be a lot of poke in the early to mid game, and then once we transition to that late game, a lot of 100 to 0 potential coming out of Onher, Raijin, Susano, and Amaterasu just buffing the team fight for Aware.
So we're really looking for Aware to try and force some objectives, maybe just to try and force a fight a little bit more on this Gold Fury, maybe?
I would like to see them counter-engage more often than not. You want to see the Bacchus belly flop in, disrupting an engagement, something along those lines, and then immediate follow-up onto that. Now, Kenshin has to be careful because he went for these purple boots, not going to have as much gold and experience to get that tankiness online, but he is going to have that damage. So we'll see if he wants to abuse that early while Mifflin still isn't very tanky.
That's very true. We'll see if they can actually look for something like that. Ward control around the Gold Fury, however, did just go Eager's way for the time being with that sentry ward down and pinned back a little bit. We may see some rotations around there for now. Speed buffs are about to respawn in about 20 seconds time here, as at the moment, Team Eager are corner camping this left-hand side of the jungle looking for a rotation in, because not being shown on the map means they could be doing gold.
Ravana should be the one going to the speed buff right now. If you look at Dr. L, no mana available, does have the teleport, but he should be able to force this back and then immediately rotate into that speed buff, which would bring members of Aware over to the right side, which should open up the gold.
Veronic's in trouble in the mid lane there. He's going to be forced out, but a great reinitiation, and you asked for it, and you got it. Jelly gets picked up there by Kenshin with those shoes of the Medjay coming through, and Forger Vulcan following up.
Jelly just a little bit too far out of position, looking for that poke. Now Dr. L going to dive the tier 1 tower. No backflip available for Delta Marine, but he still has a purification, and even without it, he would have lived. He shot the mirrored reflection early and just didn't have quite enough damage. Level 8, and there's the dividends of camping that solo lane.
Now aggression in the duo lane coming out here one more time from Cameron, pressuring Cougar back, who answers back with a very nice stellar burst there to even things up with the health potion popped. Cougar overall wins that trade.
That's definitely in Air Cougar's favor because he has the sustain built into his kit. Cameron, no lifesteal available for him yet, and with that first ability that you see right there, going to buff up his health and having that tiny trinket available, giving you a little bit of magical lifesteal.
Well, Dues has been a little bit cheeky going towards that blue buff on the right-hand side, but he's not going to, he's going to steal that one away? You know what? He did. And now the aggression is in there from Rat as well. It's going to dunk in. Dr. L falls down to a very nice, flashy overhead kick from Dwist.
1,100 gold down already for Dr. L. 0-3. And really through no fault of his own, you just have to give up that blue buff there. As soon as you see Dwist, you have to assume that Jelly's going to be in the air. I mean,
well, I think you also saw Baronic in the jungle there. Did a bit of poke to Dwist and then left him. And like, should have probably been a reset there if anything else, and maybe able to hold it. However, we're going to take the red buff on the left-hand side now. 3-3 is the tagline in this one, and Eager, well, they're still marching forward.
You just, if you're Amaterasu right now, you have to be extremely cognizant of where Jelly is at all times. Dwurst isn't going to be able to solo you unless you misplay. Even with the ultimate from Neath, you should be able to live most of the time if you play conservatively.
Well,
but you need to make sure you know where Jelly is.
Gold Fury time from Eager here. They're going to try and rush this down. When we saw this last game with the solid Neath combo, and with a Wrath available for them as well, they will strip that one away from Aware Gaming for free.
With Wrath and with Fafnir, just too much objective secure. But Kenshin going to be coming around the back right now, but Eager sniffs it out. He's all by himself.
Not going to find that flop either, unfortunately. However, the Tornado Challenge doesn't connect. The ult does, though, to Mifflin, who dives back into the engagement a little bit more, then dives out one more time. Actually, I think he was pulled in by Baronic, I should say.
Yeah, taunted in as well from Forger Vulcan. Just some miscommunication, a missed belly flop. It looks like the Typhoon missed as well. Just
however,
a little bit tough there.
Dwurst is swinging around the back of the members of Aware Gaming. I don't think they've recognized him yet. However, there's not really any support in the jungle yet. But Rat's in the sky right now, and Kenshin maybe looked that tight as well. But no, they're looking for Amaterasu to begin with. Kenshin's going to get away. Well, Weaver connects from Delta Marine from downtown.
Almost got the body block from Forger Vulcan. Just a little bit slow to recognize that World Weaver was coming in to Kenshin. But sloppy is the overall word from that team fight for Aware. Missed abilities, miscommunication, taunting him in too much there with Forger Vulcan. They needed damage, not to reposition him.
And look at this, Dwurst is going to walk in here with the teleport as well to try and siege up a little bit more for Eager. They took a lot of free poke there from Forger though, with those percussive storm coming through, but they're trying to 4-man siege, and round the back now comes Dr. L, trying to force them off, get some aggro onto himself instead. Meanwhile though, you can see Baronic go in, and Baronic is forced out again.
Very close to death, Baronic. Playing with fire a little bit there, and Eager does not want to give this up. Cameron's made the rotation, but it's 5 strong for Eager.
I don't think Cameron really wants to go in just yet, but he may have to unless they're going to give up this tier 1 tower. And now with that pillar going down, he's going to force back Eager for a moment or two. Aware Gaming try to pull him away from going for the tier 1 tower by just showing face in their jungle.
Dwurst still has his ultimate, Cougar still has his ultimate, and Cameron still has his ultimate. So those are the 3 players we want to be looking at for this engagement. But Amaterasu is going to have that ultimate up soon, and Forger Vulcan just got his as well. And Eager wisely backing up. As soon as Kenshin's ultimate, Forger Vulcan's ultimate, look at all the diamonds lighting up on the side of Aware. So Eager having those timers in their
the
mind.
drums of war going to go on Mifflin and avoided that. And Jelly's actually going to pick up on the backside. Great Typhoon coming through, and the Intoxicate too. This is a great fight for Aware Gaming. They're looking at Mifflin now. Great Thunder Crash from Forger, but he's not really got much mana to continue the chase. A beautiful play from Aware Gaming.
They all grouped up on those right side Harpies. Purification was up for Neath, but not enough. Forger Vulcan just raining shots through that right-hand side. Now Mifflin in a lot of trouble from the belly flop, is going to be able to jump away at the last moment, but not a lot of tower damage here.
Dwurst around the back though, looking for a cleanup on Baronic here, who's trying to juke him out for as long as he can. Going to ult and find the kill onto him. Now continued chase onto Dr. Hello, who's trying to support him. Root should be available soon. Look at what Forger did there. Very wise play. Thunder crashing in to support his team, but now he's been left alone.
Very wise, but very risky as well. Probably going to pay here with the World Weaver. Dwurst wants this kill badly. Tried to interrupt it, did Dr. L.
idea, that with the time, and instead he's going to fall down. I think we could see Dwurst go for that kill as well on to the Amaterasu, but instead going to fall back, heal off those minions with the Shadow Fist, and then going to find a red buff, and also Cameron.
Cameron's here trying to go 1v1 against Dwurst, but Kenshin is coming, and I don't think Dwurst knows.
It's not a very good idea, that Dwurst overall. I think he realized he was already dead anyway.
Meditation.
Going to use the meditate to buy himself a second or two, but I still think he's dead. Oh no, the leap, the wrong direction. Pillar should be back up in a second though, and he's trying to use the minions to help him out. Won't help him against the Impale.
Force the sprint though, so at least you got something. You got the ultimate out of Cameron and the sprint out of Kenshin.
And also the tier 1 side on the right-hand side is all that was going on. Is there Cougar keeping him more busy enough there in the jungle. Dwurst allowed his team to pick up a free tier 1 tower.
Just distracting everyone on that left-hand side, and the tower push from Cougar already so strong. No penetration available quite yet, but it doesn't matter. Soul with that passive, as soon as she gets to full heat stacks, she hurts towers heavily.
Well, left-hand side is full minion wave here for Cameron to farm up. He's a bit low on mana here, and I think that's where we see a little bit more aggression coming out from Delta Marine here, recognizing he can abuse this, looking for the root. Going to throw out the Unravel as well, but has to respect the potential rotations. Cameron's going to back and talk about rotation.
It's the timer in your mind. Like, I'm pushed up pretty far, and I'm probably going to get ganked pretty soon.
Is there an actual second time that you'd have it at like 5 seconds, something like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or is it more like just knowing it?
Sometimes you do get that timer. Sometimes some mid laners will say, hey, they're rotating. You have 4 seconds until they're there. That's really high level communication. Most of the time, though, it's just, hey, I'm pushed up pretty far. I'm a little worried about it. It's your internal timer. It's like quarterback in the
They should have been ready for this because the rotation's here and the Intoxicate shoes. Cougar will get stunned before the Disapparate comes off, though. However, we're not going to see any more aggression from Baronic just yet. Now he will go back in, but not going to find the pull, unfortunately. Cameron's still giving chase, and Baronic gets a good tornado of allowing the Desert Fury to connect, and finally they pick up Air Cougar. Now Mifflin going to use the ultimate to buy some time with Delta Marine rotating back in. It's Forger, Vulcan. There's going to be a sacrificial lamb here, cleaned up by Eager, 1 for 1. Around the back is Rapping Dwurst.
Dwurst coming in, he gets the root onto Baronic, and the World Weaver coming in, going to split the uprights and find him. It finished off by Dwurst, both relics used there by Cameron.
The turnaround is just too good for them, and now you're going to see Dr. L coming trying to support, but I don't think he can save Cameron in time, and now he's going to be forced out as well. This tier 1 tower does still stand for now, but with Mifflin in that ultimate form, actually I was going to say that, but he's just dropped it where he could have actually used the Coerce if he had time.
I think he'd already used the Coerce, and knowing that cooldown, how much longer he had available in the Dragon form, getting out of it, making sure that you are going to have that up a little bit sooner, a smart heads-up play there by Mifflin.
Well, Dr. L just teleported back into this tower to meet 4 men still standing and a full minion wave. He focuses the minion wave very wisely so to try and slow down this push. Now reinforcements are here, going to try and force back the boys of Eager. The tower is only at half health.
But Forger Vulcan does not want to give it up, taunting in Dwurst, still not using any damage shots, all taunts.
All taunts on that one, and Dwurst is very low though. A good flop from Kenshin allows Dr. L to clean it up.
Ooh.
Forger goes straight in there and being forced straight back out as a backflip from Delta Marine, but around the left-hand side, you can see Cougar is looking to hunt down the aware gaming solo laner who's trying to make a quick exit around the back.
It's no use chasing an Amaterasu, it's no use chasing a Susano, it's like chasing a Giannis, you know, you're chasing a ghost basically, just way too fast. Forger Vulcan got away with some fire a little bit there. Oh, Dr. L I guess it is worth chasing an Amaterasu.
It did work out, especially if you've got a Ratatoska that can try and close the gap a little bit quicker as well. Kenshin still pushed up a little bit here, but it's a 2-on-2, so there shouldn't really be any kills here, as mid lane tower has already fallen here. You can see the rotations round to the right coming out from Jelly, just looking to farm up that right-hand lane.
With Jelly's relic choices, he's a Wrath to Tosker. Your accent made it sound like that, and it popped into my mind. That is hilarious, dude. Come on.
I'm done with you. Terrible puns, man. Terrible puns. Air Cougar being pressured out there, forced to use the Disapparate back one more time. It's 10-8 in favor of Eager here now.
It's so funny.
It's not that funny, Aggro.
I'm crying a little bit.
Aggro, no.
Mifflin.
A little bit out of position here, forced to use his underhanded tactics to try and get away, and his ultimate, which will allow him to escape a little bit more, but they're going to flop him in place. Very nice from Kenshin. He will leap into the jungle, but he runs right into Baronic there, and they're still looking for Mifflin. They invested a little bit into that aware gaming, but they still weren't able to find the kill.
Baronic trying to cover that option, but just was a little bit too close. Ended up getting stunned by the dash, which led Mifflin to get out. Had the right idea, just one step too close. You can't get stunned there.
Well, you mentioned Wrath to Tosker, and now they're going to look at the Gold Fury one more time here, Eager as well now. They have the opportunity to try and burst this one down. Jelly is the main one you're looking at, but Kenshin goes in to deny it. Gold Fury reset, and Jelly forced out. They're not going to chase all the way back as that Typhoon goes around looking for him. Instead, Baronic gets isolated because of the dive, and then Cougar picks him up, but now with the follow-up of Forger Vulcan, they can look for Air Cougar, who should be able to get cleaned up here by Dr. L. Nicely done is now Dwurst and Mifflin trying to stay in this fight. The World Weaver was good, but there's no real extra damage to follow up and pick up that Raijin.
I don't know, Vulcan getting pretty low, but a great pillar gonna stop the aggression from Dwurst. What an excellent belly flop from Kenshin there. Yeah. Immediately recognizing that Jelly's the one with the Wrath and disrupting that entire engagement for Eager. And then Forger Vulcan immediately going up into the Taiko drums, hitting Jelly from a far distance, he had to get out. He had no choice.
And then, to be fair, that Gold Fury would have spelled doomsday here for Aware Gaming, especially with the gold lead as it is right now. If they would have lost that Gold Fury on top of it, we're approaching like 7K then in terms of gold deficit. It's crazy.
So not only do you prevent Eager from getting the Gold Fury, but you also pick up Air Cougar as well. A great engagement, and that all centered around the belly flop from Kenshin.
Eager going to go straight back to it this time, and Aware Gaming going to come in again to defend. But 3 members on it. 2 are going to get flopped on, but it's not low enough for the Raft just yet. Jelly is around the area looking for his cavalry. So the ult coming out from Amaterasu. Gold Fury goes the way of Eager, and the fight is not going Eager's way, however. Forced to try and get out, and Jelly will escape to the sky in time. Mifflin, good zone duty there with that Dragon ultimate, and Cougar is back. Marine is on full health too, and now Eager could turn it around with their carries.
Dr. L just way out of position there. Mifflin misses the jump, but Delta Marine doesn't miss the root. Gonna go in onto Cameron, and this fight is getting really split up. Cameron all by himself by the heart.
Yeah, they really want Cameron, and they're not going to be able to find him. The Desert Fury might be enough to pick off Dwurst, and Forger Vulcan credited. The drum sounded by Forger will also manage to pick up Mifflin, or at least force him into the worst possible spot he could hope for in life, as his ultimate wears off as well.
However, the Gold Fury does go the way of Eager there. I really like Jelly's positioning, recognizing what happened last time.
Yep.
He said, belly flop everyone else, I'm going to stay a little bit away, able to wrath it. But Dr. L just biting a little off more than he can chew.
Nice little Thunder Crash in there as well, but nice flop again from Kenshi. No real mana to really follow this up, however, but he will try and get his team in range. But Baronic is going to actually pick him up. He gets rooted in the process, forced to Sanctuary, and a Meditate coming through there as well.
It looked like Kenshin was going to be in there by himself, right? I'll hold that thought. Dr. L going to go in onto Air Cougar. Not going to be able to get into this Apparate in time. He should fall here to Dr. L.
Oh, for sure. 1 hit, guaranteed. Dr. L with a very good little play to swing in and pick that up. Sadly, though, they can't really take anything Aware Gaming off this, can they? I mean, maybe look at their tier 2 tower left, but respawn's coming through. That's the one unfortunate thing, not finding the objectives after winning the team fights.
And you don't want to get picked off there if you're Eager. You're giving away free kills for no reason. But if you are going to give away free kills for no reason, now's the time to do it. All the buffs are down on the left-hand side. You already lost your tier 1 tower. And like you mentioned, Mifflin and Dwurst both respawning, getting in there at the right time. So, like I said, you don't want to get picked off, but if you are, it couldn't have been at a better time.
That's what you did wrong on Saw, right? You used to always get picked off at the wrong time.
Wrong time, right. I was like, this is a good time for me to die. But it wasn't.
It never was. Veronica in the jungle trying to ward things up here against Eager, who are looking towards this Gold Fury. So Fire Giant next. Veronica forced out there with the jet stream, just back to safety a little bit, and loses the ward war battle as well, just for extra bad news.
Jelly loves ward battles. That's like his favorite part of Smite.
It's one of the best things in Smite.
Him and Brochacho used to just, Brochacho would be like, yo, don't come over here. We're fighting over this ward. It would be a duel.
Just to see who could actually outplay the other one.
No, I would start to rotate and be like, yo, I'm coming, Eric. And he's like, no, it's us. Let us do it. The support battle.
Well, both teams decide to group up in mid lane a little bit. I love the fact that Ego trying to stay split, though, and trying to abuse the fact that their comp is about rotations more than anything else. We've seen how Aware can do in a straight-on 5v5 fight, and it's working out well for Aware, but Ego doing a very good job of disengaging those fights and then waiting for the speed of the rotations to come in.
Splitting the map very well, and that's something that Eager has always done well, looking for split push opportunities. A lot like Most Wanted, both of those teams are very good at that.
Oh, this poor old Kenshin stuck there, forced to intoxicate. Still alive, however, and will get out as Dr. L picks up Jelly, who he's going to pay the iron price for going in very deep there with that ultimate. Meanwhile, Delta Marine being forced out here on the mid lane by Baronic, but reinforcements are here, and Baronic overextended, and a good rotation from Mifflin with the last of his ultimate will save his mid laner.
Aware's going in 1 by 1. First it was Baronic, now it's Dr. L. Gonna fall to Delta Marine. Great peel coming out of Eager, and what a great interrupt on the Storm Kata from Mifflin, hammering it away so he couldn't dash out of the root.
Well, it's going to be up to Kenshin here to try and defend. He's got carries with him, but he needs to be a front line for this team. Hammer connects there onto Cameron to slow him down a little bit more, and now he's forced out as the tier 2 tower does fall in mid for free. And when you look at it with a Sol underneath, it's not going to take long.
It was just, like I mentioned right away, 1 by 1. Baronic biting off a little more than he can chew, trying to get onto Delta Marine. Eager immediately turns very nicely and are able to kill him quickly. Almost an overcommittal onto Kenshin. We saw Jelly pay for it, but then Forger Vulcan is still only level 14. This is the second game in a row that his farm has been severely lacking, and it's really hurting Aware's team fight.
Well, they're going to go again and take down the tier 2 on the right-hand side there. I actually just saw Mifflin, who used Coerce onto Dwurst.
Yeah,
all 3 targets that he had to go on, he was like, let's give it Dwurst.
And he did that on purpose. Knowing Mifflin, he did that on purpose.
Maybe. Oh, Dwest in the jungle here just stood still. Going to have to take an overhead kick to avoid the belch there. And now, I think you have to be a little bit careful of this fire giant, because that seems where we're looking at. And Jelly's actually going to dash in there, which may have actually cost him his life if he wasn't too careful.
Almost, though he does still have the purification available. Did get picked off without using it. Just so much burst damage that he didn't have a chance to use that relic. So he knows that he's okay, has that ultimate available as well. You know, I don't think Mifflin gets enough credit for, you know, when you think of like trolls on the console, it's like Clow.
That's true.
But Mifflin's a top tier troll, man. He really is.
Just for doing stupid things?
No, just everything about him. I mean, he's a phenomenal specimen.
Well, at the same time, he's going to force out Cameron there as well, and now he's going to get focused on himself, but just before that flop connects, pops the roar and says no to that. I'm not going to get hit, and instead going to go aggressive a little bit more into Kenshin here. He's got a little bit of backup coming through, and all they're trying to do is keep them busy, because now Jelly's here as well, but Jelly did not find the ultimate he was looking for, and now the reaggressment could be here for Aware Gaming now. The drum's being channeled through that narrow corridor, do a little damage, but not enough to slow them down. Will Weaver hits Dr. Hell, who jumps out as well, and still Eager trying to push through with the coerce, hitting everybody. Jelly feeling himself a little bit too much as the rest of his team chose to back away.
That was a 4v5 for Eager. I don't know if Aware realized that. That should have been a fight that they were taking, but we saw the damage from Forger Vulcan just isn't there. Level 15, just getting 1 level since that last engagement, and now it's going to be, Fire Giant is on the mind of Eager.
Yeah, they're going to actually force Forger back out on the Raijin as 2 members are here standing tall at the moment. Baronic going to be looked at and heavily focused on Force to Purify Away and Sanctuary as well, but the root is going to cause him issues. Delta Marine with a cool backflip to pick up that kill as well.
Eager does this so well. We're doing the Fire Giant, no wait, we're just going to kill you instead. They do a great job of making the calls. Are we committing to the objective or are we committing to the fight?
Well, this Fire Giant is still very healthy at the moment, and so Eager looking to bring in Aware here, and they're looking towards Kenshin at the moment, and the Cameron on the backside, but Jelly, well, he bit off too much more than he could chew. I've been saying that a little bit too much today. Forger, credit for the kill. Desert Fury used by Cameron there for poke more than anything else. Didn't really do as much damage as he would have hoped for, and now it's Forger being focused again, and the wraparound could be here for Eager through the jungle. The pillar will slow them down from Cameron, but Cameron under pressure and forced the Sanctuary there as the pressure is on from Mifflin as well. Forger forced the Sanctuary as well. Backflip from Delta Marine will get him the kill because he closed the gap.
Cameron just able to escape Dr. L, showing face to make sure that he does. But Dr. L only level 16 as well. I mean, we've got 1 level 20 and a couple level 17s on Eager, and Aware's just falling so far behind on XP.
And this is where they've actually really put the pressure on Eager. He's been out-rotating them for the most part, finding picks, and then getting towers too. The team fights, Aware have done a good job, but when you keep losing the Golden Experience League because the objectives are going down, you're still losing the game.
Imagine how much better these team fights would be going for Aware if they weren't down an XP significantly.
I agree.
If your mid laner was putting out relevant damage. I mean, he's top on his team, but he's still lacking. I mean, we saw how much he was lacking on this, right around this area with the ultimate, hitting multiple people, but not doing any significant chunk damage. I mean, Kenshin is second on this team right now. Yeah, he's Bacchus, but it's 24 minutes. You've got to have someone else putting in significant damage. And while Cameron had a great laning phase and has had some nice ultimates that are on point, he's just not finding the damage in the team fights that's necessary. That being said, though, we've gotten 25 minutes in. Jelly should not be on the bottom here. Look at the bottom characters. You've got the bottom 3 are Susano, Anher, and Ratatosker.
The jungler is just not really making much of an impact in terms of damage at all. Cameron as well being forced out every given time. I keep saying him having to leap away, so he's not getting much damage off as well as the game's gone on. The good news, though, for Aware Gaming at the moment, though, Aggro, when I'm looking at this, is the fact that because all the towers are currently down, there's not that many options for split push available for Eager. So if they can just hold on and hold these Phoenixes, we've said their 5v5 team fight is better than Eager's if they were on an even keel. So they can hold this game for now and just farm back up. They could be back in this one.
I just don't know how much longer they're going to be on an even keel, because Eager's going to be looking at this Fire Giant, and when you're 12k down and the other team has a Ratatosker, it's going to be tough to fight into it.
You just want to keep saying that over and over.
I really do. That is so funny, even if you don't think so.
No, I don't. Puns are bad. You should feel bad.
I prefer my puns intentional.
Okay. Well, you saw Mifflin there boxing too, keeping him busy, because the rest of Eager are actually doing the Fire Giant right now. Mifflin will pick up the blue buff, then misses Hammer, unfortunately. So he's going to give a window for Kenshin to come in here. Kenshin, the hero they need to try and secure this. The flop's a little bit too early, though. The pools, however, will cause a lot of problems there for Jelly, who will get in and get the Fire Giant for his team before falling down. Mifflin answered back with that pick up onto Baronic as that went on. However, they're chasing in the jungle, looking for the pick on Delta Marine, who actually avoids it with the Sanctuary. Air Cougar, though, picks up Kenshin. And meanwhile, at the back, Dwurst is taking out another damage dealer as poor old Raijin has been left All alone.
Once that dash is down for Raijin, nowhere to go against that Ravana. Cameron now left alone. Yeah, that's probably going to be game. Really close to Aware getting that Fire Giant, but even if they had gotten it, it's still a team wipe for Eager. The Deicide finally going, Delta Marine picking up that last one. And what a game for Delta Marine. 8-2-10 on this Neath. We said that he was so comfortable on the Soul, but looking awfully comfortable on the Neath as well. Top of the damage charts. And it was really him and Cougar doing the damage necessary that Aware was really lacking.
And credit where it's due to Jelly there in the jungle. His decision to actually make sure he got the Wrath off before he died, made sure they got that Fire Giant.
Still a supported heart, right? Bottom the damage charts, setting it up with all that, you know, CC and objective secure.
Aware Gaming's with some roster changes now that Layers of Death has been removed from the team. Didn't work out for them in that set against Eager, and it's going to allow Eager to start closing the gap on the top leaders.
No surprise there from Eager. I'm a little, you know, we were looking forward to a great match here. Didn't work out that way because of the roster switch up for Aware. And the story for me is just Forger Vulcan needs to farm better in middle lane, and your support should not be top damage on your team. Kenshin was top damage that game at the end.
That's what he said. I mean, if Kenshin's top damage, it just means you should probably put him in the carry role. Give him a carry god.
Bacchus is a carry god.
It's true.
Let's be honest.
No, he is.
You carried me the other day with Bacchus.
We don't need to talk about me carrying you. It's okay.
I'm trying to help you out. I made all these terrible puns.
However,
I'm trying to throw
a couple
it
of
back.
players from Delta Marine here, as you can see, getting involved in the action on that Vulcan game one. He had a fantastic game on that, to be fair. Really far ahead early on and just punished people with it.
He was huge. I mean, he was huge the entire game. Level 18 there. You see all the health ticks that he has. And then again, on Neath. Delta Marine right now, for me, is the premier mid laner.
I think he's the best. I think he's
console.
the best mid laner the console has to offer right now. He's really
Especially
shown it since
now
he came
that
to the
I'm
scene.
gone.
I mean, to be fair, you were free. That's what I know about you compared to him. Like Delta Marine, which is just a solid mid laner that really shows a lot for his team.
Just positioning always on point, gets the peel from his team that, you know, maybe I didn't get. Maybe I would have been as good as Delta Marine if I had that kind of peel. But joking aside, he's always in good position. He always hits his abilities, and he's always farming really well. That's the thing that always stands out to me from Delta Marine is he's always farming very efficiently. Well,
all these teams are trying to get themselves to Worlds. They went last year, did Eager for the Invitational. That this time, though, it'll be the World Championships from. You guys can go too. Head over to hi-rezexpo.com and get your tickets now, and come see me and Aggro cast some of these amazing games.
You may even see a Wrath to Tosker.
Coming up next, however, maybe we'll see another Wrath to Tosker as Eager will go again in a head-to-head set to see if they can try and catch up to Most Wanted and put some pressure on there. We'll be back after the break with that set.
It's time for the Smite World Championship. The journey that these teams took here was one for the ages.
It's been a crazy year, and it's all led to this. Teams across the globe will take to the battleground of the gods to fight not just for the prize money, but title of the best Smite team in the world.
Welcome to the Smite World Championship!
Miles of fire, I'm losing ground.